What are some girl secrets guys don't know about? We are often secreting vaginal cleaning fluids. Sometimes guys are surprised when we are wet with no foreplay, without realizing that it's got nothing to do with how turned on we are and everything to do with our vag cleaning itself. These same guys automatically assume that we don't need any foreplay because we're already wet. Side note on these cleaning fluids, sometimes they are acidic enough to bleach panties. That's a normal occurrence and nothing to be concerned about. Edit. Guys, there isn't literal bleach in women's vaginas. I was using it as a verb. The sun bleaches things, but isn't by definition bleach. Not just bleach panties, but put holes in them. For a while I was wondering how the hell the washer was catching my unders only in the crotch. I once had a girlfriend who just didn't like to wear underwear. All her jeans were bleached and rotting in the crotch. You didn't often notice unless she sat across from you, but that's definitely a side effect. I frequently have snacks in my purse. I don't tell because I don't want to share. The gift of the girlfriend. For real, when we are going out and I'm thirsty, she will pull out a water bottle from her purse. Hungry? Cookies? Headache? Tylenol? Need to store sunglasses? Go right ahead. Makes me want to carry a purse, but I'll never admit it to her. I got a nice well-made man bag years ago. I'll never go back. OGO brand. Fanny packs are also amazing. Just make sure you're already married and that relationship is solid. Edit. OGO thanks. What guys wanted to hear? Naked pillow fights. What we got? Chunky meat period. Chunky meat period. Worst Campbell's product ever. Sometimes when we fart it goes forward and basically makes our vaginas vibrate. It feels really goddamn weird. Edit. If this gets put in a BuzzFeed article you guys have to pay me. What about when fart bubble gets stuck in the labia molds? God, I hate that. Then you kind of have to awkwardly shift to dislodge it and it kinda tickles while it sits there. Late to the party, but some of us shave our toes. This thread is making me feel way better about myself. When you shampoo, some of the hair that falls out will get stuck into your ass. As a guy, I constantly end up with my wife's hair somewhere in my pants. Usually ends up around my junk somehow. Then when you pull it out, it's like fucking cheese wire. Bras do not get washed after every wear. I have 3 bras. One fits better than the other, and the third is a soft one for chillaxing. When I don't want wires poking me, I usually sniff them. Wash when stanky. Surprisingly they don't get stanky very much. When guys try to act cool in front of girls, it's painfully obvious and almost always goes awry. I notice this a lot more that I'm a married man. Hanging out with single dudes while there are ladies around is painful. Taking off a bra without removing any other garments is not that hard. Budding young peeps looking for love from the ladies, take that to heart. Learn that early. While hugging someone, you can do it one-handed. Your hand is already behind them. Thumb goes on one side of the clasp, 1, 2, 3 fingers on the other side depending on the size of the strap. Squeeze a bit and twist 1/4, 1/3 turn. The hooks disengage and it's done. Over in a blink of an eye with no awkwardness. This works while a shirt/dress/other top is still on. This upsets the traditional progression of hooking up and the awkward reveal moment. Most guys can't hit the free throw without a few attempts and you just one hand, no look, over the shouldered it from half court. Wide eyes followed by did you just unhook my bra? Congratulations, you just upgraded your interesting quotient. Because there's always some shat who abuses knowledge and ruins shit for everybody. When you do this with a lady you are making out with in a consensual manner, it's a slick and suave move. When you do this to a lady who you cornered into an awkward hug, it's sexual harassment. Don't be that a shat. Many men know this, and kudos to them. For the straight guys who do not, hitting the cervix is not a universally crazy great sex move. A lot of us find that to be pretty fucking uncomfortable. Please check with your partner for their individual opinion on this. I have never hit a cervix here, ladies. I know several females that, before they go on a first date with a guy, they'll share their location with a friend and text them that guy's full name, Just in case. Louis the 100th. K. I know, said something poignant regarding this. On a blind date, men are afraid of being rejected. Women are afraid of being raped and murdered. Margaret Atwood had a good one too. Men are afraid that women will laugh at them. Women are afraid that men will kill them. Most guys may know about light days or heavy days, but not a lot of guys know about what my first wife called chunky days. I've been sharing some of your responses with my wife, and she says all you guys getting grossed out and noping out of the thread are a bunch of pussies. Seriously men, if you can get past the gross factor, you have no idea how this can work for you. I have given you such a huge information leap and you all are worried about a little grossness. Yep, chopped liver. Always a fun experience for us girls. Oh, and period shits. The good old PB&J wipe is another joy. Okay, I'm done here. Have a good weekend everyone. Jizz drips. I'm surprised I don't hear about this more, but I guess most folks are using condoms and it's a weird subject to bring up. When you come in a vagina, it doesn't exactly get absorbed, it drips out, sometimes for over an hour. It comes out more quickly if the gal is on top or if she coughs after, which is why after sex I go to the bathroom and 1. Pee to prevent a UTI and 2. Push the jizz out and then go to bed. You must. I'm not about to try to sleep with all that shit just oozing out all over my thighs. Talk about uncomfortable. We have period underwear that's usually reserved for days 1 and 2 of our cycle. Very comfy and roomy. Till my whole wardrobe is period wear. A lot of women on their fertile days of the month have a type of vaginal discharge that's the consistency of a jellyfish. You can stretch it between your fingers. It helps to guide sperm from the vagina and into the uterus to hang out until an egg can come down and be fertilized. Is there a point in the month where vaginas aren't doing weird shit? Nope. They're always up to something. Shifty vaginal eyes. Almost every woman out there has little hairs around the nipples that we remove. Most of our secrets have to do with us being human, having hair and other bodily functions. This comment made me pull my tits out of my shirt and inspect them. Period poop and farts. I'm not even kidding, but the cramps feel better after pooping. Your bowels go crazy on your period, right? It's somewhere between wanting to poop, feeling the poop, not getting poop, but have to poop, so you force poop. If we are having sex, my increased moaning is not a signal for you to increase speed or impact. It's a signal to continue doing exactly what you are doing without changing a thing for another 20 to 50 seconds, so I can come. Changing it up will just reset everything back to square one immediately and is kind of frustrating. And it also makes me regret moaning and then makes me feel the need to suppress natural sounds from then on. Edit. So for those saying you can just say keep doing that, you're not understanding the timing of it all. The moan just comes out and he immediately increases movement as a reaction. By the time my brain kicks in, it's too late. I'm not going to focus on remembering to suppress my natural moaning to instead say keep doing that. It's unnatural for me, and from the girls agreeing, it's more natural to moan than to respond by talking for a lot of females. If talking during sex comes out as naturally as moaning does for you, get it girl, I wish I was you. And men, I can just as easily say to you, when she moans, why don't you just ask keep doing that, before you change anything. Now, when we are trying again, I then am more aware and focus on not moaning, and give the instruction first, but it always feels less natural. My body likes to moan from pleasure. It's just advice. If you want a surprise, deliver ultimate pleasure and exceed our expectations. Look at the girls responding. I know I'm not alone. The other day I was drunk and shot my tampon into the toilet while pushing out a poop. We really don't give anywhere near as much of a shit about your dick size as you. I have no idea what gives men the idea that their dick is the center of a woman's pleasure. There is this beautiful thing called a clitoris. Find it. Sometimes when you sneeze up there, you will also sneeze down there. Ah yes, the double pipe classic. We can use just eye contact to ask a stranger, female, to come save us from a creep. Normally they will pretend to be friends and offer to stay with you until you find your mates. This is a real girl superpower. It is a universally known, and every girl will be glad to help. We will also walk with you if you're alone. The weird stray hairs on your chin, neck, cheek. I had one on my neck that I never knew about until recently. I tweezed it off, and it was about 3 inches long. How did I not see this before? I get an occasional hair in one spot on my cheek. It's always one single hair, and usually blonde for some reason. Every other hair on my body is nearly black, and it always just springs out of nowhere a solid 3 or 4 inches. It's a mystery, but I swear it's not just me not noticing it. It literally just shows up out of nowhere every now and again. Now that I think about it, I also recall an occasional long blonde hair springing out of my right eyebrow every now and again. Far longer than any of my eyebrow hairs ever managed to get. Wiping during a period can sometimes give what we call a PB&J. Thank you, and good night Reddit. If you stick your thumb up your cooch you can push shit out by pressing the wall that separates the bag from your intestines. Fact. My friend is a nurse, and she tells this to patients who are constipated. If we are on a date and my hair is tied up it's probably because I was too lazy to wash my hair and wasn't that interested in the first place. However, if we are in bed together and getting hot and heavy and I tie my hair up, don't fucking complain. I'm about to give you the best BJ ever and I don't want my damn hair getting in the way. Who would complain about a ponytail? Probably the most universally loved hairstyle among guys. Girls, don't tell them about the multiplayer games in the restrooms. Nah, that requires a DLC. Just tell us what y'all are doing in the bathroom. Mostly removing hair, pooping, grooming, that kind of thing. Pooping. Get right the fuck out of town. Girls have the ultimate poker faces. We are able to keep straight faces when a clot oozes out, or a sneeze hits and turns things into Texas Chainsaw Massacre down below. Lots of women don't primarily take anti-conception pills because they have sex and don't want to get pregnant, but for various health reasons, for instance severe acne, passing out from blood loss during period, etc. I play with my boobs when I'm by myself, like a stress ball. When I have a tough problem to crack at work, I do this too, but my wife doesn't appreciate it and makes me stop. Reading through this, and with all the period stuff listed, I feel sorry for the women who have monthly periods. Not all women are regular. I only have about 5 periods a year I believe. It's a pain, because I don't know when it's coming next. I shave my face. No, it's not super hairy, more a fine downy patch on my cheeks. It doesn't grow back darker or thicker. It's way easier, cheaper, and more convenient than waxing. Scientific note, hair does not grow back thicker when you shave it. I've had this discussion with people that have almost turned into arguments. People believe this religiously, even though it makes no sense, even though there's an explanation for the illusion. People cling on to this belief. It's insane. It looks thicker because you're seeing the hair that's cut at an angle. It feels coarser because it's cut at an angle. Most guys don't seem to get that once the actual bleeding is over during a period, the cleaning fluid is still coming out at dark brown for a few days, making it still worthy of a pad or liner. I call this the after party. One boob is usually bigger than the other. It's fucking expensive. Pads, tampons, hygiene products all add up quickly. Not to mention makeup, which is often expected to look professional or put together. That putting in a tampon and having to pee in 30 minutes sucks. Ripping out a dry tampon is one of the worst feelings, so you pee anyways and try to avoid peeing on the string. Facts. Lots of women, myself included, get really scared when guys raise their voice, even if we've never had a man be violent with us. Our hair is wrapped up in the towel turban after showers. My friends and I in college would always use the restroom as sort of a half-time throughout the night. How are you feeling? Do you think you're too drunk? Are you cool with that guy dancing on you? Are we leaving separately or together? That sort of stuff was always asked. I keep just about anything you might need during the day in my purse. band-aids, pads, snacks, a vibrator, etc. I even found a mini water gun in there a week ago. Purses are fucking magical. Edit. I never expected a comment about my Mary Poppins purse getting 300 upvotes. And yes, a lot of girls carry a vibrator in their purse. I thought more guys knew this, but apparently not. A vibrator? For like a quick orgasm while waiting for the bus. Then the water gun to cool off? It all makes sense now. We do and don't care about dick size. There's a really large threshold where it doesn't fucking matter, but most girls would be unhappy with a 3 or 4 inch dick or a 9 inch monster. Some women aren't really into penetration, and then oral and fingers and foreplay are substantial enough, but other girls do like penetration, and those girls might like a larger size. Not everyone does though. Lots of vaginas are pretty shallow. Also, pro tip, if you have a larger package, make sure there's lots of foreplay, because the vaginal canal actually lengthens when turned on, and just because her panties are wet doesn't mean it's necessarily ready for your magnum dung. Vaginas are self-cleaning, and are sometimes just wet. The clitoris is on the leg. That for some women who don't get laid regularly, but like to be groomed when they do, it can be either constant upkeep, or spending several hours a day of getting things in order. That being on your period feels like someone dropped a flaming anvil on your pelvis, complete with rotating blender blades. God, I love Reddit. It's nice to have an open discussion about what our bodies do naturally without people losing their shit. We actually masturbate, even though we don't talk about it. Shock horror. I know many now know we masturbate, but when you were 14 you probably didn't expect your crush to be getting it on as much as you did. Sometimes when you are asleep, we masturbate right next to you. How do you get into my room? Also, could you wake me up next time? If I'm putting my legs in your lap, it's because I just shaved, and I want you to point it out, because I took time out of my day to shave and be smooth for you. Alright, since no one else has brought it up, and I have vaguely mentioned it, symptoms of premenopause don't always start in your 40s or 50s. It's not unheard of to begin in your 20s, and it's actually not super uncommon for it to happen in your 30s. Hormones are weird, especially in women. And it's likely helpful for the hetero men here to understand a little about it. If you intend to share your life with a woman, fucking buckle in. My mom started premenopause when she was my age, 30, and didn't actually go through it until she was 55. So 25 years of weird hormonal things they never even tell us about. I honestly didn't know about how this presents until recently, when I started showing symptoms. Period poop WTF. I just discovered its existence in another post. I don't even want to know. Sometimes we stand up and things just gush out of us. We always think it's our period. In pants, hard bulge pic. Actual pic of your dick. When you hold your breasts when you walk up the stairs so they don't jiggle because that's uncomfortable. Periods suck overall, but they are very different depending on the girl. Some women get emotional, some are completely normal, some periods last for 8 days, some last for 3 days, some girls are in extreme pain, some just have mild discomfort, some flows are very heavy, some are very light. Aka, I'm on my period can mean anything from sorry, I'm completely incapacitated, or I'm just feeling a little worse than usual. Once I was in so much pain I couldn't walk, so I decided to lie down on the couch in fetal position. A few minutes later I got the biggest urge to pee. I resigned myself to try to get up again and go when I felt a flash of pain down my entire back. I tried once more and again, a flash of pain that prevented me from uncurling myself. I stayed like that, unable to move, for 20 minutes with a very full bladder. When I did manage to get up I struggled with walking upright, so I just hobbled to the bathroom. Meanwhile, a colleague from college was perplexed hearing us girls trade horror period stories because she never felt any pain. No bloating, no migraines, nothing. It really is completely different experience for every woman. Sometimes when we pee a stray drop or two starts to roll across our butt cheek. Or maybe that's just me, not just you. It's annoying as fuck. Hey girl, will you walk behind me to check if I'm leaking? That goes hand in hand with double checking your seat when you get up. Oof yeah. I always check, but I have no idea about what I should do if it's actually stained. I had a terrible experience more than once BC of cotton very irregular sudden heavy periods. I'm usually very aware of signs that it might be happening soon, but a few times I've been caught off guard. But the worst was about 3 months ago. I doctor-apped sitting in the chair in the waiting room filling out my paperwork. Stand up and there is a very large noticeable puddle. I just had to suck it up. Tell the technician. I offered to clean it myself, but she refused, and I apologized and left. I did reschedule and went to my next appointment and was treated like nothing happened. So that was nice. Underboob sweat is a thing. Some dudes have that. Can confirm. Screw just underboob. Cleavage condensation is a bitch. Also, hair around belly/boob area is a thing for some of us. How slowly we have to pull out a dry tampon in order not to rip our vagina tissue out. After you go to the toilet and you have discharge in your knickers, pulling your knickers back up again is the most horrific feeling. It gets cold very quick whilst you pee. Cold, wet and slimy discharge knickers suck. Imagine that all day long. This is why I just check my knickers every time I sit on the toilet and wipe them. And unlike another comment mentioned, I do not wear liners on the daily because it's a faff and pretty wasteful. Might not be a girl exclusive thing, but I personally need a lot more foreplay to actually enjoy sex. Most of the time I can't get off from strictly penetration, no matter how badly we both want it. Can we bring back dry humping? It never left. The dry humping is coming from inside the house. We get so turned on that our clit actually hurts sometimes. The throb on my knob. I don't get the clit ache. I get full blown really painful pressure in my labia minora and vagina. Like a really awful heavy pressure that needs to be filled to stop the pressure. If there are any men fashion designers on here, women who like dresses want pockets in the dresses, and I don't mean near my boob, I mean on the actual skirt part. I love my one dress with pockets. I'm convinced the designer of the modern skirt was a miserable old man who said God already gave women a pocket. They're not getting any more. Sorry, you gotta buy our purse too. Which is approximately 5 times more expensive than dress. Some of us get extremely horny during the period, or little before that. Not the best timing, and not so many men dig it. My wife gets horny and irritable at the same time. Definitely not the best combo. She'll complain all day, and then wonder why I wasn't enthusiastically initiating anything in bed. It took me a few years to notice the pattern. Same. Few days before. Horny AF but also so irritated. Few days after. Extremely close but not horny at all. No winning at all. Sometimes the pubic hair gets stuck under a panty liner. Ouch. Pads that don't have wings. Oh god. It's like they make a conscious decision after they've been applied that the real way to stop the blood is to seal it shut. What about the pads and panty liners that decide they don't like blood, so they unstick themselves from your panties and roll up, so your panties get the bulk of the blood anyway? When girls are particular about their hair products, it's not us being overly superficial or picky. When your hair is long, the right shampoo/conditioner/drying routine can be the difference between soft waves and a dry ratty mess. This, my boyfriend doesn't understand why I can't just use his shampoo/conditioner 2 in 1. His hair is soft using it, so mine would be 2 in his eyes. What he doesn't realize is all of his hair is an inch or 2 away from his scalp, and mine isn't. The ends would be so dry. The feeling of having fart bubble popping forwards and squeezing your thighs to pop it. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Till that guys get this too. Now I have a mental image of dicks flapping up like the lid on a kettle. The fart bubble that sometimes come forwards and goes into your vagina and you're squirming BC who you have, but your vagina now. I nearly wet myself laughing when my partner sat there, farted and with a hint of surprise in her voice said oh, it bubbled up me flu. Yeah, my so doesn't understand, and I tried to make him relate. Do you ever fart and instead of going back out bust your cheeks, it comes forward and like touches your balls or something? And he looked horrified and said no, but I think the thought of him farting on his own balls haunts him now. We are almost always at least a little wet. It's not that you're hot, our bodies just need to be to function. Like a dog's nose? Boop. Basically. When we say don't stop during sex, it means don't stop doing what you are doing. Don't go harder, don't go faster, just don't stop doing it exactly as you are right now. It seems that when this is said, the guy speeds up or starts fucking up the rhythm. I get some guys get excited and go faster/harder, but for me, it feels more like when you're halfway through a Guitar Hero solo on expert and your friend says oh shit, don't stop, but then of course your hand starts to cramp up and you lose your rhythm and then you start to fuck up. Not heard anyone compare Guitar Hero to sex in a while. Reminds me of when my wife and I had a when did you know you love me type talk. She said it was because I maintained the same rhythm when she would say just like that. She was the one and done type with orgasms. After she had hers, she would give me the green light to do what I want. It was kind of odd in a way, but we had a great sex life. The past tense may make some curious. She died of a heart attack a few years back. Some girls like squeezing their boobs. As a guy, I also like squeezing my boobs. I remember asking my friend if I was weird for doing this, and she was like, we all do it, we just don't talk about it. Be proud of your girls. So yeah, we do this. You can't blame us. They're squishy and fun. Someone already mentioned dick size, but I'm gonna go ahead and add some more. Longer is not better. We are only about 4 inches deep, so wishing you had a huge 12-inch cock to shove inside of her won't be pleasurable. It'll be very painful. You'll be ramming her in the cervix, and that doesn't tickle. Girth is more desirable, and if you don't have a lot going for you in the pants, plenty can still be done with the tongue and fingers. For a lot of women, penetration isn't the climax. Also, if she's wet, and I mean like fucking Niagara Falls, it's basically dripping down her legs, you could probably get a baseball bat in there with that much lubrication. It's possible she won't feel you at first, until you fuck a little out to her, so that is it in. Isn't always BC, you're just small. The liquid barrier is real. Edit. RIP inbox. I've been trying to keep up with everyone, so my apologies if I didn't get to you. I don't want anyone to feel insecure. My point was just that the porn videos and shit are crazy inaccurate. Most of you are far too hard on yourselves, and your dick is fine the way it is. There's tons of great advice in my line of comments from other men and women, and you shouldn't put so much pressure on what's between your legs. I've been with 2 porn star length/girth guys and I didn't end up having satisfying sex with either. When you whip it out and it's the size of my forearm, I'm just gonna be intimidated. Our favorite bra hasn't been washed in 2 weeks. I'm in Texas, and this very much depends on the season. Summertime, I've gotta wash the favorite bra every week, because the boob sweat in the heat and humidity is ridiculous. Wintertime, this one hasn't been washed since November. Edit to add. Also, my classroom thermostat is broken. My room is consistently about 60 degrees now. If I complain it's too cold, they crank it all the way hot, and if I say it's too hot, they overcorrect it. So I stopped emailing about the temperature and now my room is freezing. So there's nothing gross about my favorite bra. I mean, yeah, sure, I guess I'll wash it next weekend. Takes a whole day to air dry it. We have so many hair related issues, plucking dark random nipple hairs, trying to line up when we shave our areas to when we hook up, to avoid guys from seeing razor burn or ingrown hairs. Before getting out of the shower we have to pick out hair from our butt crack that fell out from washing our hair, pubes growing and sticking out of our undies, pubes getting stuck in pads or liners. Hell hath no fury like a woman who shaved and didn't get laid. Some women have larger labias and sometimes they get stuck in our underwear. It's very painful and extremely uncomfortable. And then we have to either walk funny to try to get them unstuck, or walk very carefully to somewhere where we can just stick a hand down our pants to get things sorted. And don't get me started about getting stuck in lace underwear. I've got long labia minora, and they're a pain. Like I've considered surgery pain in the ass. I have to squish them around just to be comfortable on a daily basis after every trip to the bathroom, and the amount of times they've gotten in the way mid-sex and almost ripped off because there was a sudden dry patch. Ugh. Some women get blood clots in our periods and it feels like you're giving birth to a jellyfish. OMG, don't sneeze or the world's largest jellyfish will shoot out. When you stand up after sitting for a long time and it feels like the elevator scene from The Shining but more jelly. Half the time I'm readjusting my bra I'm actually trying to scratch my nipple. Whenever I readjust my pants chances are I'm trying to scratch my nuts, so I can relate. Sometimes we have to take the extra long stride too, because period blood and discharge can make things sticky down there. At least in my experience, not a single girl I've ever interacted with has been turned on by an unsolicited dick pic. And trust me, he has tried. We need to pee right after 6 to reduce the risk of getting a UT. Also, if on birth control and pulling out isn't necessary, we need to go empty out the goo you just gifted us. Please don't try to throw your arm around me and fall asleep. I don't want to sleep in the sex juice that will be leaking out of me momentarily. Let me go take care of that real quick while I pee. BRB got a ego. Momentarily. That's a gift that gives for hours. Ugh. If I don't clean up, I'm going to fall asleep and either be woken up by 1 rolling into lake jizz or 2, the feel of my rear and or girly bits separating like velcro from each other due to the now glow effect of the dried leftovers. That feeling when you thought you cleaned up okay and then 45 minutes later you sneeze and nope, didn't do as good a job as you hoped. If you have sex without a condom, we need a good few minutes after to let everything drain out of us. I always tell my boyfriend BRB gotta go ooze because I love seeing the cringe. I try to come up with new ways to phrase this. So far my partner's favorite has been exorcising the semens. Gotta spice it up. Ick now. /_/. Some guys don't understand how different many girls look without makeup. A more or less common response to some female friends is, are you sick, or did you not bother to just put on any makeup? Usually it's both or the latter. My boss the other day, you look a bit grey. Me, oh, you mean my dress? Boss, no, your face. I actually burst out laughing. Some of us definitely do. Being on your period is the worst. Try being super horny, but not being able to wank, because everything is just one big slimy mess down there. I would say this only applies to women who are slightly bigger, but this was an issue for me. Even when I was very slim, thigh rubbage is horrible when you wear a dress or skirt, particular in summer. It was also bad for me if I was wearing stockings and they would ride down a bit below my vag, essentially forcing the top of my thighs to rub together in inglorious harmony. It hurts. Every so often, something itches. Is it a yeast infection? Is it a bacterial infection? Is your pubic hair growing back in? Is it dryness? Is it irritation? Did something get stuck in your underwear? The answer is that 99% of the time everything is fine, but you're still gonna worry and squirm uncomfortably trying to get it to stop. And also yeast infections in general, much more common than one would think, and absolutely goddamn ruthless. My nipples can be like 2 clitorises on my chest. Rubbing them very gently, licking, being kind equals I get super wet and aroused. Usually when I masturbate I stimulate a nipple at the same time. I don't know why dudes don't try this more when I ask. Most go at my chest, like they want to smoosh my boobs like dough or suck a nipple like they are angry and trying to lengthen it. What I think they don't get is there's so much versatility in the body. I like rough play too, but tender play is a whole other lovely world. AWW, lucky you. I feel nothing and can't help but feel jealous of those lucky ladies that have this additional pleasure point. I feel like I miss out, lol. Sometimes a hug will do a million times more good than trying to get me to explain why I'm upset, largely because I'm probably overwhelmed with my feelings and need to process them before I can explain them. The fastest way to process and get them out? A hug to feel loved. Women's bathrooms can be just as disgusting as men's. Girth vs length. I feel like guys always base each other off their length. I've had 9 in skinny dick, wasn't great. I've had a 5 in length, thick dick, and it was a ride. I remember a comedian I heard once. People always have these weird stereotypes about us black men. For some reason people think we're all walking around with these massive dicks. It's not true, people. 6 inches. That's it. That's all. That's as wide as I get. Also, positive stereotypes hurt people. Heard via a friend. Being a small-dicked black man sucks, and women don't even try to conceal their surprise and disappointment. Men with somewhat veiny forearms and pushed up sleeves are a godsend. Edit. I like the sleeves because it's like hiding something for the imagination. Biceps/triceps. Muscular arms are another one of God's gift, or the hard work and dedication that person took in developing them. Effort is another thing that I appreciate from men, which may or may not indirectly be a part of why I like muscles. Men with arms. Not just any arms, forearms. But I only have 2 arms. I'm super late to this party, but I lift my boobs up, so I feel like I can breathe without the weight of them. Have no idea if anyone else does this, GBH. It's a great feeling. Once in a while I put mine on a table and I imagine this is what it feels to be free. Vaginal wetness isn't a good way to tell if a girl is turned on or not. This depends on the individual girl, hydration levels, ovulation, and age. A better way to tell is if her clitoris is hard and pulsing out of the hood. I roll my eyes every time a guy puts himself inside me and say, wow, you're so wet. You must be really turned on. No, dude, my vag just self-lubricates to clean itself, or I'm ovulating soon. Expected girl secrets. Got mostly girl secrets posts instead.